Hello, Good Life Travelers. We came on a little early. You heard Chrissy snorting. But it's going to be a good episode of Travel Talk Tuesday. I have a hunch. We have the full team. Welcome back, ladies.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Cheerio.
All right. So we are excited the full team's back together. And this is like part one of a two-part series. So stay tuned for next week's episode. But this week we're going to talk all about London.
Yeah.
London.
Exciting.
Because Tamara, she was personally invited by the king. She's very tight with him. They're like this. And he invited her over to the coronation, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Yes.
She was there for the post-coronation festivities.
Yeah, there was still lots of evidence of the party that happened like 6 days before I arrived, or maybe even less, 5 days before I arrived. So
her whole trip was to the United Kingdom, right? And then to France, right? And then back to UK for a little bit.
Right.
So we're going to talk about just the UK today, right?
Yep.
And next week's episode is all about Paris.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Isn't that the city of romance?
Yeah, they're both wonderful places, and not very. It's very easy to get between the two with the Eurostar. Very, very easy.
Well, don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead. So I think we need to start with a treat. You want to start with the drink first, or a little sweet treat
You already were
first?
talking about the chocolates, so you might as well get that going.
There's a story behind it, and it's
go ahead.
long into my.
Oh, okay.
Well, I need to munch on something. So I did notice one thing, Tamara.
Yeah.
Everything says, this one all says coronation, has the guy's logo on it. Do they own all this stuff, the king?
Well, they really kind of shill the family out to.
They what, the family?
Am I
Shill?
allowed to say that word? They, I can use other words, but they use their celebrity to
Windsor chocolate.
sell things, which I found a little weird. We'll talk about that as we move forward. But that's from Windsor Castle.
They sell chocolate from Windsor Castle?
I got that at Windsor Castle, so it's branded with the Windsor Castle logo, which costs probably an extra £4 or £5 just to have that label.
Wow.
I'll let you guys know how it is, okay?
It's probably good old Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah, probably. It looks a little darker.
It's probably Cadbury, is my guess. They're not.
This is a little bit of a side note. So my mom, who watches the show every week, said, "This is more of a food show. All you guys ever do is stuff your mouths." I took a little offense to that.
Food is a big part of traveling.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I don't need any because I'm going to be talking.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry to jump in. So while we're munching on this, you want to talk about the beginning of your trip. You flew. Where did you fly from?
Cleveland to JFK direct to London, and I found it really, really good airfare. I think it maybe was like around $700 round trip. That included our one checked bag, which more and more European flights don't have a bag included.
I noticed that.
Yeah, you have to pay for a bag, and a round trip bag is about $150. Just FYI. So if you find a good deal, it probably is not going to include a bag. You have to add that to your fare. But so we had an 8-day trip planned, and Paris is so close to London that we decided to take the Eurostar and add that to our trip. But we'll focus on London today. So we arrived the next day in the morning into London Heathrow. And to get from London Heathrow into the city, there are various ways to do it. We had planned to take the Paddington Express, which we've done before. It's a high-speed train that gets you into the center of London to Paddington Station in about 25 minutes. So we went to the station for the Heathrow Express, and guess what? They're on strike. So,
of course.
So that's
welcome to Europe.
Yeah, and that happened a lot through this whole trip. We really had to adjust our travel plans because of strikes, and that's where having a travel specialist like one of us can really help you pivot and change direction. So we had to figure out a different way to get into the city. You could take a cab or an Uber, but it's kind of pricey and it can take a while because of traffic. So we decided to take the Paddington line, which is the underground train, which is also very convenient. And there was a station at Heathrow, but we had to walk quite a distance to get to it from the Paddington Express station. And then that took us to where we needed to go. So tip number 2 is travel with light luggage, because, like I said, we had to walk quite a ways from the Paddington Express station to the Piccadilly line is where we were going for the underground. So I know I like
These names are just...
yeah, they're fun. So if I would have had multiple suitcases, it would have been a nightmare. So okay, so we get to our hotel.
Wait, can we backtrack?
Sure.
I think that a lot of people don't realize that you tend to leave here later in the day in the U.S.
Yes.
and then you arrive in the morning
Yes.
in Europe, which I think it's critical to plan ahead for those flights.
Definitely.
Personally, whether it's taking a little NyQuil or bringing something to listen or help you to sleep, or a lot of those planes will give you eye patch things or a pillow or something. I think it's critical to really... You want to get some sleep on that plane, if any way possible. Whatever you got to take, I think.
Almost all European flights, you leave at night and you arrive the next morning. London, there are...
You don't want to lose a day. If you arrive and want to go sleep, you're going to lose a whole day, and you're not going to cycle through the sleep stuff.
Right.
Yeah. London is one of those weird cities where every once in a while you can find a flight that you leave in the morning and you arrive in London in the evening. But most places you're going to sleep on the plane. So be prepared. So if you're going a little further... say you're going to like Rome, you get a longer time to sleep. But London, you really don't have that long to sleep. So as soon as I think our flight departed JFK at 10 p.m. And we landed in London at 10:30 the next morning, which really was only 7 hours in the air. And by the time they give you a meal and you get situated,
And a breakfast, too.
yeah, you only are going to get maybe about 4 hours of sleep. So it's critical if you want to sleep that you really be intentional about it. They give you eye masks, put those on.
You need to sleep, though, because the whole next day, when you hit the ground and land, you want to go see things.
Right.
You don't want to lose a day. I
Right.
think it's critical.
That first day is
Push
really,
through.
It's rough. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
rough. So our first day, I chose a hotel that was close to the Eurostar because I knew the next day we were going to have to take the Eurostar to get to Paris. So we stayed at a wonderful hotel called the Renaissance St. Pancras, which was an old historic hotel connected to St. Pancras Station, which is a transportation hub in London. So that's tip number 3 is really, and this is where I can come into play, is know what type of transportation you're going to need throughout your trip and try to find accommodations that will save you time and money in transportation. So if you stay close to a station, you're not going to have to spend a whole bunch of time to get to a station and then pay extra money to go from that station to where you need to be. There's a lot of planning that goes into this. So this one was perfect. Big station connected to the underground, connected to the Eurostar, connected to the other train lines in England. So you could actually see the Eurostar from some of the rooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was
Could you
that
hear it,
close.
too?
You could not hear it. You really could not hear it. But I'll put pictures on Facebook because this hotel was really cool. The restaurant was in the old booking office of the train station. It's a beautiful and it's so convenient and it was very nice. I think it was a Marriott property because it's Renaissance. So lovely hotel. So first day, we're tired. We check in. First activity for us is a walking tour of 40 sites of
40?
London. Yeah,
Oh, my
at least.
goodness.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah. So we met our guide, great guide, and it was a ton of walking. We
How big of a group was it?
maybe 8 people. It wasn't
that's not
a,
bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge group. I had planned this group in advance. He kept us moving. I barely had time to take pictures. Like, I think I got yelled at a couple of times because I was lagging behind. But
Always
I
breaking the
warned-
rules.
That's right,
Always
that's right.
breaking the
I
rules.
warned him that I would be taking pictures. So, and bringing up the rear all the time. So, sorry. Let's have a drink.
I was just thinking I need a little tea. All right,
Yeah.
now I don't want to. This is such a nice setup here. I'm gonna lift it up because I want to show. Look at Tamara got us. This is like sophisticated here. It's a little tea set with 3 different kinds of teas that she has, and these are all from England.
Yeah, I'll talk about those a little further into
Okay,
my conversation.
Christy, you want a darker one or a lighter one?
I don't care.
I'm gonna give you one that has your chocolate sitting on it,
Okay.
in case you want to dip it back in. Tamara, you want
I
light or
don't care.
dark?
You can pick next.
Well, I'm going to take the lighter one. I'm going to give you this darker one.
Okay.
Because I think the lighter one might be this tropical one.
I think it is.
So it makes me think of a
So
little
one is
vacation.
peach, one is strawberry, one is coconut, and
I think you
Smells
guys have
so
the
good.
peach and strawberry. I think I've
I
got
think I
the
have strawberry.
coronation of His Majesty King Charles III pineapple and coconut infused. I don't know what this has to. Maybe it's one of the colonies. I'm thinking, but this is a fancy tea.
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little
With
later
silky
too.
bags.
With silky bags, 15 of them.
So we walked all over London, seeing sights. If you want
Yeah.
to see London, you need to take a tour like this because they'll give you the highlights very quickly, but barely any time to
Oh, you should try this. This is good.
take pictures. So when that was done, we grabbed a quick dinner and then went to sleep because we were exhausted. But knowing that London is further north from the equator, it did not get dark until probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Next morning, it was bright and sunny. I woke up at 5 a.m. and the sun was shining bright. Yeah.
What'd you have for dinner? Is there what types of food?
Well, we ate.
Or did you eat very American?
Well, we were tired. And
I love a good build-up.
tired, and we
This
just
sounds like a
were hungry.
McDonald's.
No. We ate at the train station. I had the train stations are very, very nice. Like they're like malls with nice restaurants, nice shopping. We ate at a cafe. I had quiche Lorraine and a salad, which
Your favorite.
I love quiche. That's like my favorite
Yes,
meal anywhere.
yes.
I don't remember what Will had. There are in Europe. There are lots of cafes and places where you can grab beautiful sandwiches or quiche or lovely salads, very unlike what we have here, and you can take them away. So we ate our dinner quickly and then we went to bed because we were both tired. Got up bright and early the next day. On our agenda was Windsor Castle, which is it's probably about a 45-minute drive from London. But I had purchased train tickets in advance for us to take a train to Windsor Eton, which is by Eton College, which is a
I've heard about
school
that.
near Windsor. I think Prince William went to school there. So I kind of wanted to see that before we walked up to Windsor Castle. Go to the train station. Guess what?
Strike.
They're on strike. My train was going to operate, but I had chosen when I purchased my tickets to do a will call and not print my tickets on in advance. But the office was closed to have get my ticket. So I had to pivot, and I called an Uber, which was not a cheap Uber. But we got there, and I actually I'm glad now that we took an Uber because I could see the countryside as we drove through, which it is what it is.
Yeah.
But so the town of Windsor is really nice.
Is it big or small?
It's like your quintessential English town with cute little shops and restaurants. It's definitely based on tourism, but you can see parts of like a real English town there too. Nice train station. It's worth more than a few hours to stay there. We didn't have a long time. We got there early. The castle itself, I would say, is probably one of the best castles I've ever toured. And I've toured a lot of castles. It's well maintained. It was well interpreted. They had good information. You got to see a lot. I was very, very surprised at how much because they still use that castle. I was surprised at how much we could actually see of it.
Is that the bathroom place with the weird bathrooms?
bathroom place?
They had like 1,000 rooms and only like one bathroom that everyone shared.
I don't think so.
Is
Oh,
that
is
their
that-
Oh,
vacation
that was
home?
that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at Versailles.
Is that their
Oh,
vacation
okay, sorry.
home?
No, that's where actually Queen
Oh.
Elizabeth lived.
Oh, okay.
Windsor's, it's not very far from the center of London at all. So it's, Kate and William actually live in a house on Windsor, on the property of Windsor. I don't think anybody's actually living in Windsor Castle right now, but it is definitely a place where they live. Attached to, in the same property is St. George's Cathedral, where Harry and Meghan were married, so we get to tour that. Beautiful as well. Much smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But if you're going to London, definitely put Windsor Castle on your list. It is worth the trek out there. It's kind of close to the airport, so in retrospect, I wish I would have
start there.
I actually looked at stashing my luggage at the airport when we first landed, and then going to Windsor Castle, and then going back to the airport to get my luggage before going to the hotel. But I thought, that sounds complicated.
Yeah.
But it would have saved time. But so we went back to after Windsor Castle, and we shopped around Windsor a little bit. Went back to grab our luggage, and then jumped on the Eurostar. Went to Paris, which we'll talk about in another travel talk, and then spent 5 days in Paris and went back to London. So when we went back to London, we flew. and it's I don't even know. It's not a very long flight at all. Less than an hour from Paris to London. We flew into Gatwick, which is one of the other airports in London. It's smaller than Heathrow, but it's still a very large international airport. I had purchased tickets on the Gatwick Express to get into the center of London, but guess what? They're on strike. So there were all options that we could take. So I jumped on a different train and got into the center of London. This is kind of cool about the transportation in London. In most cities, you have to figure out the route you want to take, like where you're going to start, where you're going to end. You have to put it in a machine. The machine spits out a card. You got to figure out how to use the card in the machine to get into the metro. In London, you take your credit card or your ATM card or Apple Pay or whatever, and you just put it up on a little reader.
It starts and then ends.
And it opens the doors. Like right when you're going to go onto the subway, you just put your card on and it just opens the doors. And then you go on the subway, and then when you get off, you put your card back on the reader.
That would be so much nicer.
Nice.
So
easier.
easy.
Yeah.
And I have to say, at all of the public transportation places that we use where tourists would be in London, they had people there to help you. Because I went to buy a ticket, and the lady's like, you don't really need a ticket, you just use your card. It's pay.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm. So nice, because we could just jump on. What you do need to know is where you're going, and that takes some research, because if you've never used the subway system before, and there are, I want to say there's probably 12 to 15 lines in London. It's good for Londoners because they can get around, but it's complicated for tourists. So you have to know the end point on the line you need to take, because that's the direction you're going to get on the train.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out
the connections and
all your connections and what station you need to get off at. And then when you get off at a station, where do you go? Because a lot of times there's multiple ways to get out of the station. So it can be a little complicated. If you are a first-time traveler, we can recommend. I would recommend using a guide and a driver. That makes it a lot easier. Or we used Uber sometimes when I just didn't feel like tackling the system, and it's going to be a $20 Uber ride. Okay, I'll do it and it saves you time, and it saves you time really too, trying to figure it all out. And your time is precious. You're there to learn and explore and see. You don't really want to spend your time under the street.
Underground.
Yeah.
Under distress either.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's stressful. I get stressed sometimes, and I'm a very experienced traveler. I use the subway every day for a couple of years when I lived in Washington, D.C., so I understand that, but it can be stressful sometimes. So went back to London, checked into a different hotel that was in a neighborhood called Mayfair, which was very, as people kept telling me, very posh. It was a very nice...
right up your alley.
Yeah, it was a very nice hotel, and we got upgraded to a suite, which was even better.
Oh.
So we started that day with a pub crawl in...
Fun!
Yeah.
What time of the day was that?
2:00 was our...
Boy, Chrissy, this could have been your kind of trip.
Right? It's my favorite time of day.
She perked up. Maybe I do want to go to UK.
And it was fun because we went into real neighborhoods with real pubs where people getting off of work were hanging out, and it was a Thursday afternoon. And,
Friday Junior.
Yeah, that's a day where they all want to go out. So it was really fun. Our guide was great. He showed us more than just pubs, little things here and there. When we were done with that, we had a couple hours to burn. So I really wanted to go to this place called Fortnum & Mason, which is a very famous department store, I guess you would call it, but it's more focused on food. Cool. So this is where I got...
Like a Williams-Sonoma type thing?
Yeah. I'll put a thing on Facebook about it.
We're talking about food.
Yeah, it's very... it has a royal warrant, which means the royal family uses this store. It's multiple stories. It's very old school. So I got, that's where I got some of the tea. But they had a lot of branded coronation things, which is kind of weird.
Perfect timing, because I need a little treat. This is the Coronation Traditional Miniature Shortbread. And this container is, I don't think the video do it justice. It's amazing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really... Things are really beautiful there. I see that I kind of find in Europe that people don't They buy beautiful things of good quality that are gonna last for a very long time versus buying multiple cheap things, which we kind of do here,
Right.
that are more disposable.
Yeah.
So,
Well, these are going to be disposed.
I know.
I mean, we're going to eat these suckers. They're miniature, but man, they look good. I like shortbread.
I got those at Windsor Castle too.
Did you have baked beans for breakfast?
No.
I find that so strange.
That is a big thing
Yeah.
over there, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think what we had for breakfast. I can't
Why do you
remember.
think that is? Any idea?
It's just a cultural thing.
It's
breakfast
protein
just-
or something? I don't
Yeah,
know.
their breakfasts are very different than ours. Their food is similar yet different, a little more bland. I'm seeing a huge
Oh my God,
influence
those are lovely.
of American chain restaurants. Like, guess what?
Oh.
Guess what fast food restaurant I
KFC.
saw? No, Five Guys.
What?
Yeah,
I do like
saw
Five Guys.
a lot of Five
I know,
Guys in Paris and London. I was very surprised. We actually,
Wow.
I hate to say it, we had lunch there one day.
Well, that's
What
good.
kind of traveler are you
I know,
becoming? My
hate-
lord.
When you only have like a half an hour to
Right.
eat lunch before your Eurostar is going to leave, and you're in a neighborhood where you don't know any place,
Yeah.
and that you know Five Guys, and you know you can get it fast. That's what we did. And I'm traveling with a person who's kind of picky, anyways. So, but guess how much? Like 2 burgers. I think we each got a drink and we split a fry. Guess how
It's probably
much?
expensive because you're in a big city.
Like $50.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
I hear it's like New York prices,
Yeah.
like in London.
Yeah, I thought it was very expensive. So,
This to you.
pub crawling. Pub crawling was fun. Lots. As I was touring London, a lot of pubs are called the Red Lion. You'll see that over and over and over again. But their beer is not like our beer. It is not carbonated, and it's warm.
Oh.
Yeah, with that my first drink, I was like, oh, I don't know.
So guess who's not going to go to London with me?
Sorry, Brett.
Please no.
Yeah, but you can get cocktails. I think I saw Coors maybe on tap somewhere. So yeah,
gosh.
but lots of local London brands of beer. I got a Pimm's cup or Pimm's and lemonade at one place, which was delicious.
Yeah.
Just different drinks, but tons of fun. The pubs were decorated with like a picture of King Charles and all sorts of red, white, and blue stuff for the coronation. It was just fun to see. And pubs also serve food.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, or just bar food. You would
I
love
love
them.
bar
You would love
You
them.
would love
fried stuff. Oh yeah.
You would love them. There was
They like mozzarella sticks.
I don't think so.
It's my favorite bar food.
The pubs had a lot of charm. I remember we went into one and there was it was like a 300-year-old pub, and there was a corner and there was a little sign and it said BS, but it had the real thing spelled out corner, and that's where people could just sit and
Talk.
and BS, with the
Brett Snow.
with the barmaid or whoever was there. They're just cool, and it's totally
Any live music?
no. No. I'm not sure that's a thing. It is definitely in Ireland, but
Yeah, that's what I think that's what I'm
I
thinking. Yeah.
don't think there was even like a place where like a band would be. But a lot of times the people would spill out into the streets or into a little yard next door, and you'd see all sorts of people, real Londoners, out just enjoying a nice, lovely afternoon. So when that was done, we went to Fortnum and Mason, shopped a little bit, shopped a couple places. So much coronation stuff,
Yeah.
like little.
Was it marked down since the coronation was over at that point?
No.
She was there right after it.
Yeah,
So, I'm
yeah,
guessing
but still, there's stuff. There's Diana stuff. There's Queen
Oh,
Elizabeth
wow.
stuff. There's, but I think
It's a big business.
Brits are really, really into it, and the royal family really plays into it as well.
Well, they got a product with this shortbread.
Yeah, but
This
that's
is
not,
legit.
That's not theirs. It's just.
Well, I'm gonna get the recipe. This stuff's
But the royal
Yeah,
family
look
does. King Charles actually has a whole line of things himself. His house is Highgrove, so I think it's called Highgrove Estate, and they produce all sorts of things. Fortnum and Mason had a whole corner of Highgrove Estate stuff, honey and cookies, biscuits, things like that. And I guess their Highgrove Estate also has stuff in grocery stores as well, in like Tesco, which is one of their grocery stores. So. As an American, our image of the royal family is very different than what the royal family actually is.
He's more like the guy from Monopoly. He owns all these businesses, it sounds
Yeah.
like, and all these companies everywhere.
So the the center or the neighborhood of Mayfair. It's either Mayfair or Westchester. Maybe it's Westchester. Anyways, it's owned by one man who's like in his 30s. He owns the whole neighborhood, and it's a very expensive place to live, and he owns it all. So he's very, very wealthy. So you like his logo is branded on the light posts. That's how wealthy he is.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of like that. And
How do you make his money?
it's generational.
Oh.
Like it's been passed down and passed down and passed down, and you may own the building, but you don't own the land. You have to pay him money for the land. He's responsible for a lot of garbage collection and things like that. But it's just a different system than we have here. But they either you love the royal family or you hate them. But they bring a lot of tourism money to England.
Well, I was on that cruise, and I met a lot of people from the UK, and I probed them all. And they were very open about talking.
Yeah.
Very different understandings and perspectives. I mean, these people all loved the King and Camilla and William. Not huge Harry fans. And I said,
Yeah.
the U.S., everyone's kind of like a Harry fan, I think,
Yeah.
I mean, we have all the shows about him and stuff. But you two
Right.
are obsessed about Harry and, what's her name?
Megan.
Meghan. Whereas I think it's like the opposite there. I mean, at least the couples I met on this cruise, young and old, they were all pro the King and
Pro
and
royal
what's her
family,
face
yeah.
that we all have our own thoughts on. But
Yeah.
Opposite.
Have you ever been to London and seen the tabloids? The newspapers
Oh, yeah.
are terrible. They are really mean. So I was there. The whole Harry and Meghan were being chased in New York City was going on. And you would see just rows and rows of tabloid newspapers with giant, mean headlines about them. It's like, who cares? Like, but it'd be like breaking news, and they would. I watched a newsman guy like change the poster in front of the stand to like breaking news. Harry and Meghan,
Chased in New
something
York.
mean about them.
they don't like him, according to all of these couples
Yeah.
I met. I mean,
I'm not sure that they like Charles either. I kind of got that feeling. Like they're going to tolerate him, but they really feel like
they're waiting for William. I
they're
think.
waiting for William, and what pressure that must be for him and her, Catherine, to take on this giant business, really, which is the royal family, because it's big. It's not just Buckingham Palace; it's St. James's Palace, and King Charles doesn't even live at Buckingham Palace. He lives at Clarence House, which is a stone's throw from Buckingham Palace, and there's all sorts of royal properties in London.
Brett said you and I should have worn those big hats.
All those black
And
things.
sat here quiet. She's got to get some of those big black hats.
Those
They
are
don't
cool.
talk. They don't talk, right? They just
Who?
The guards.
Oh, the guards, yeah. They don't talk. Well,
Because that's a big touristy thing to see.
Yeah,
the
it
changing
is.
of
yeah,
us.
yeah.
So we actually, when I did like those 40 sites in 2 hours,
Yeah.
or whatever, he took us to an inspection, which is a little like changing of the guard, but it wasn't as crowded. So they all wear like the bear skin hats, and they come out, and the guy comes and inspects them. And I turned to our tour guide and I said, "This is just for tourists, right?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"It is. It really is." He's like, "It started that the soldiers were drinking during the day, so Queen Victoria mandated that they had to be inspected at the end of their duty, and they'd get in trouble if they were drunk. So, but that continued on, and now it's just
Thank God we don't get that, right?
it's a tourist spectacle.
Chrissy wouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah, it's a tourist spectacle.
That's
Because there really is no reason. There's where they're guarding you. There's not even a reason
Right.
to guard what they're guarding, but
Right.
they still do it. So yeah, and there's a lot of touristy stuff in
any Ted Lasso stuff?
I was wondering the same thing.
See Ted Lasso stuff.
No.
No,
All right. So did you cover it? I don't want.
no, I'm not done.
Oh,
I
okay,
got
sorry.
one more thing. So
I had a rapid fire ready, but we'll wait for you to finish.
So
Rapid
in
fire.
the evening that day, we went to see Phantom of the Opera in the West End, which was fun. We really enjoyed that. And then the next day, which is the day we were going to leave, but it was the only day I could get tickets to go see Westminster Abbey. So we hightailed it there in the morning. Oh my gosh, that place was so crowded. Thousands of people waiting to get in. We were we had bought tickets in advance. We were towards the beginning of the line, and we got let in first. So I kind of got to see things before it got so crowded. But towards the end of my time there, it was really crowded, and you were just kind of herding through with people. But there's like 3,000 people buried in that church. Wow. There are tombs and stones everywhere. That's something you don't see on TV.
That's a big Christian thing, yeah.
Huge. I've seen a lot of churches too, and that's the most people I've ever seen. Kings and queens and very important people. But as we were walking out, I saw the headstone of, it said like, here lies a plumber.
The lucky plumber.
Yeah, hundreds of years ago, who took care of the abbey.
Aw.
I thought, that's kind of cool that
That is.
he got a final resting spot there. So, so after that, we went to get our Gatwick Express to the Gatwick Airport, and guess what?
Strike!
No!
Oh!
It was supposed to be, like, they had announced a strike, but the train was there. So we got to take
No one was there
it.
to drive it, but...
Well, it was really late, which started getting me very nervous. Like,
Oh,
okay, I got my tickets, we're supposed to be going, why are we not going? But we made it, and it was easy to get home. So that is my time in a nutshell. So
Sounds lovely.
it was fun. London is easy. It's a great place to visit. They speak our language. We have a lot of common things, so it's a great place for
Get a
people.
Five Guys burger.
Yeah, you get It's familiar but different. It's like our smarter, more intelligent, more elegant neighbor, relative.
I don't know about all that.
Well, there's just a certain
But they don't have as nice teeth.
air and feeling about it. It's it's a really nice place to visit, and it's not that hard to get to.
Okay, you ready for some rapid fire?
Yeah, bring them.
Okay, so how long, if someone was going to go, and obviously you could spend forever there, but what's a good amount of time to spend in London?
You could definitely spend 7 days in London and take a couple of days to go do like the Roman baths and the Roman baths in Bath, Stonehenge, Windsor, the Cotswolds, and you can take some little day trips. There, you can even technically go to Paris for a day if you're willing to sit on a train for many hours. You can definitely do that.
How long was the trade ride in between?
Just over 2 hours, and I'll talk about the train ride in the next one, but it was a really nice train ride. Very fast and easy.
What kind of budget are we talking? How expensive?
London's expensive, so hotel rooms I would budget probably about $500 a night for a 4 or 5 star hotel. It's going to be a budget buster.
Okay. Favorite food, non-American, so no Five Guy nonsense. Or
Does quiche Lorraine count?
that was your favorite meal there?
I had a chicken sandwich. Buttermilk chicken sandwich that was really, really good. Again, the person I'm
It was at
traveling...
a Wendy's, but...
No, it wasn't. It was at a restaurant called America. It really was.
America.
Oh my god, this sounds dreadful.
I know.
And it's so not you.
It's so not me. It's so not me. But really on this trip, like we were like constantly on the go. So it'd be like, okay, we got 45 minutes to have dinner before we have to be to the next place. We just need food. And the person I'm traveling with is not a foodie at all. Just wants something. So
That's why he's so skinny, probably.
yeah. But we did have a really good, it was called the Americana restaurant. It was really nice. And I would say the menu was not really what we would consider American food, but of course there were burgers on there. But we ordered a chicken sandwich, the best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. Like we don't make them like this in America. It was really good.
Best sight that you saw?
Windsor Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, really, that one was really good for me. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Weirdest or strangest sight?
Weirdest or strangest sight? Gosh.
Something on the street? Some weirdo? Or?
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in... Oh, you're going to like this. So I saw a lady wearing like a Little House on the Prairie hat.
A bonnet, right?
Like a bonnet.
Did you have a matching one on?
Hers was at the drag queen.
I wanted to say, where'd you get
What store is that at?
You get one of those.
But she wore it was just a normal hat.
Was she Mennonite or something?
No. I'll be a little nicer. On my weirdest and strangest and most interesting things. So in that neighborhood we stayed in, which is very posh, it's like it's the Royals neighborhood. It's where they get their haircut and where they do their stuff. We passed a store that had the uniform that George wore for the coronation. Did you see that? Like it was a little red.
Yeah.
That, and then the robe that the the Knights of the Guard, where like what Kate had on, kind of that purple robe. That's what they made in that store, and they had it in their window display.
Wow.
Like that was like the store.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
you can just walk up and order a Knights of the Garter robe.
So when is yours arriving? Next week, Tamara will have a purple cape on.
Lots of hat shops. Really, like a lot of custom tailor places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My final rapid fire, and I'm sure Chrissy has some, is
I have no
in
rapid
honor of Chrissy. You probably had some interesting alcoholic drinks, I would think. You tried something. Any weird or unique beverage that you think that...
I loved my Pimm's and lemonade.
What? I don't even know. You said earlier, what is a Pimson lemonade?
Pimm's is
Pimm's
like
is a
a
liqueur.
liquor, yeah. And they mix it with lemonade. We do a Pimm's cup in the U.S. Might have cucumbers in it too. I think they do cucumbers here too.
What alcohol is Pimm's? Is like a vodka?
It's a British. Is it gin maybe? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
It's Pimm's.
Well,
It
I
was
would
really
try
good.
that then. That kind of
Yeah,
sounds
you would
healthy.
like it. It was really, it's not healthy. It had fruit
Sorry.
in it too.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
It's light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a shandy too, which is a beer with a lemonade. Those are my favorite.
Okay.
So
Chrissy, did you have any questions? I feel like I
I
dominated a
asked
little
some
bit.
questions about. I'm intrigued by the baked beans. I'm
Important topics like
baked beans and toast. That's what I eat. That's what they eat for breakfast. I think it's kind of
do.
strange.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So some countries, like the breakfast buffet is amazing. England is not one of those places where in fact, one of our hotels, we skipped the breakfast because we knew it was just going to be like an English breakfast, and we were more interested in like
An English breakfast.
scrambled
yes.
eggs and home fries.
How about Big
So-
Ben? Did you see Big Ben?
I did. So do you?
In London Bridge?
So
Is that-
I was going to actually do a little trivia quiz for you.
Oh no!
have a
No!
trivia
No!
question.
No! After the cheating
Is
incident.
Big Ben? What is Big Ben? Do you know what Big Ben is?
A clock.
I think it's that building, isn't it? That's the
The
bridge.
bell in the tower.
Oh, in the
bell
tower.
is
It's
called
Betty.
Big Ben. The tower is, I think, the Elizabeth Tower now. But yeah, Americans think Big Ben is
Interesting.
that tower. Last time I was in London, that whole area was under construction, and it's done now. It was being restored. It's beautiful. Like, it really kind of sparkles in the sun.
Along the water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are lucky because I was going to talk in an English accent the whole time.
Okay, before we went on, Tamara was getting the tea, and she was doing, I don't think, English accents. And I said, Chrissy, you cannot do those, because I think they're all sorts of offensive. There was
No, they were
everything
all
from
mixed up,
Australia
right?
to Ireland. There was a little Asian, and then she started talking about cenotes in there. And it was the weirdest accent
I said,
conversation.
good day, mate.
And I'm like, no, Chrissy, it's very offensive. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that while we're on the air.
I know, I don't have a very good English
We were
accent.
standing in line, I think at the airport, listening to British people behind us talk about how much they love the American accent, which
Oh
made me
my
laugh
gosh.
because I'm thinking,
I love the English accent.
we love your accent.
Right,
You
right.
don't have an
Listen
accent.
to them for
Yeah.
hours, yeah.
Yeah.
So I always think it's interesting, like what their perspective is of us.
Yeah.
So met a lot of lovely people that were very willing to share their town with us and talk about everything from religion to how they own homes, how they grocery shop. It really, we had a really good time.
That's nice.
I think the UK people are very friendly. Whenever I meet them on a cruise ship,
Yeah.
they always want me to book the next trip. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. But
Yeah.
they're very lovely people, and they share, open up,
Yeah.
and
They're very, very
I feel like we're
lovely
cousins,
people.
kind of, like, we're
Yeah,
good people.
I think they feel that way about us too.
yeah.
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 So even though we had that little skirmish a couple hundred years ago,
Just a little something there.
yeah, we have a kindred bond.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Any other thing else? I don't want to cut you off.
no, I'd be happy to help you go to London. I've got some
Yeah.
travelers leaving in a couple weeks to do. I think they're doing 7 or 8 days. There lots of Harry Potter stuff.
Oh, I
I
bet.
should have mentioned that.
I bet.
They're going to do a Harry Potter tour at the studios the day before their guided tour starts.
The only thing I'll point out is that one of the big cruise ports for that area, part of the world, is Southampton. Not too far. A lot of cruisers leave from there. Whether it's the British Islands, whether it's Ireland, whether it's going up to Iceland, Greenland, all over Northern Europe. It's a great place for that too.
Yeah. My kids did. They went to England last year and toured around for 4 or 5 days, and they say that I haven't really been into the countryside, but they said the countryside is wonderful. And as I was flying in, you could tell a big difference between France and England from the air, because France was it's like us, very like grids with fields, and you go to England and you see curvy lines that have trees, and you know that's a road that's just curving, that's very narrow, that's got trees right up against it, and very green, very, very green, but beautiful. So lots of like great houses when I was flying into.
Oh, I
we
bet.
see like really beautiful gardens. So
I believe it.
I would totally go back. I think it's a great city.
So if you're interested in any of that parts of the trip or to learn more, you want to contact Tamara. Of course, keep an eye on her Facebook group, Traveling with Tamara, with lots of pictures and information as well, correct?
Yep.
And I think we'll pivot to everyone's favorite segment.
Oh no.
News, any updates, anything fun you want to share going on at the Good Life Travel Company? Any interesting bookings or any news or anything? Chrissy, you've been quiet, so we'll start with you.
No, just kind of the same as last week. Lots of honeymoons, a couple last-minute summer getaways, and in June, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I'm going to be going to visit Jamaica and learn a little bit about some resorts in Jamaica.
Oh, so we'll hear
Oh,
that
the
accent
accent.
for about 3 weeks after that.
yeah,
Good Lord.
And I'm going to actually stay at a Sandals, Montego Bay as well. And then a couple weeks later, I will be in Aruba, which I'm super excited for because I've sent quite a few people there who absolutely love it, and I've never been. So I hope to learn a lot there and experience Aruba.
So if any of those all-inclusives, domestic trips, amusement parks, any of that stuff, give Chrissy a call, and she'll take very good care of you. Or follow her page, like her page, what is it, Paradise Lost with Chrissy, I think it is?
Paradise Found.
Whatever. Something like that. Something about Paradise, Chrissy, you know. So,
You're so mean.
yes. So Tamara, I know you just got back, but I know you've been working on a big group trip.
I got a
remember.
group going to Italy that I've been working on. I have a family going to Madeira, I believe.
Oh,
for
you've
New
been waiting to
Year's
book
Eve.
someone for there.
Yeah, lots of Europe trips, Japan, something happened in South America, so busy.
No rest for the wicked, they say.
Yeah, I love it.
And usual, same old here. Gearing up for our first big group trip to Alaska in 2 weeks. We're heading out. There's over 40 of us, so there'll be plenty of pictures. I'm going to be the responsible chaperone. It's going to be very entertaining. So follow us on that. And then we're working on other groups, so get in contact with that. Big news tomorrow night is our Viking cruise night here in Sandusky at the Sandusky Yacht Club at 7 p.m. If you have any interest, we could probably still sneak you in. So just give me a call or email the RSVP at tgltravelco.com. And then tomorrow, the Thursday then is the Viking cruise night in Perrysburg. So we have lots of people. It's going to be a lot of fun in both those places. Our good friend Mary Trotter will be coming in town from Viking, and she's going to give some wonderful presentations. And hope we might do a little travel talk, too, with her. So it's going to be a good week.
And Perrysburg is very close to the casino.
That's why Chrissy said she wanted to go. You said something about getting to Perrysburg at 8 in the morning to set up, and I didn't understand 8 in the morning.
We really got to set up early, guys.
Is it really close?
It is.
Oh, yeah. It's like 10 minutes.
It's really not bad. Yeah. My mom has a permanent
Yes,
chair.
she
there.
does.
A couple times a week she's there. My dad's using the car reading a book.
I love that. I love it.
Well, I think that's everything. Unless, ladies, you have anything else you'd like to add?
No.
So,
Thanks for listening to me chat on about.
yeah, it sounds good. I'm ready to
Amazing,
go.
yeah.
So if that sounds good, any of the trips, contact us. Follow us, like us, share us, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will make sure we take great care of you so that you can live the good life on vacation. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Here we go.